So help me out here. I've got a question. I'm a little confused. Why is the entire country so hell bent on getting the Epstein files released? Now, I know a lot of people out there jumping up and down saying, "Oh, we need to know who these pedophiles were who committed these crimes against these young girls." And I agree with you 100%. Whoever did that needs to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. But people are screaming about a list. Now, anybody I know who's ever been in business and kept a list, they kept a list of clients and they didn't have little stars next to the ones, okay, well, this is in my pedophile group. So there may be a list of clients. And in releasing that list of clients, there's probably a lot of people on that list of clients who had absolutely nothing to do with the pedophile or the sex trafficking. So you run the risk of destroying a lot of lives if you just release a list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients you know, without any other indication of them being perpetrators of these crimes. But my real question and my real concern comes from everybody screaming about releasing these files and releasing the list when they have made it perfectly clear on both sides that they're not going to believe it when it comes out anyway. If the Epstein files are released and Trump is not in those files, then half the country's going to scream that the files were doctored and Trump's name was removed. If the files are released and Trump's name is in the files, the other half of the country is going to jump up and down, screaming, yelling that the files were doctored and Trump's name was added to the files. So either way, half the country's not going to believe when the list is released anyway, so people are still going to bitch about it when it does come out. All I can do when I'm forming my opinion is go on the facts that are out there. The facts that are out there, not the guesses, the accusations, the hate and the discontent. It's just the facts. And what do we know? We know that in 2005, when they started the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump was one of the only ones, if not the only one, who openly admitted that he had a relationship, a friendship, a business relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. He is the only one who voluntarily sat down with the investigators and testified and gave them information about that relationship and about Jeffrey Epstein. There's even rumors out there that Donald Trump was the whistleblower who turned on Jeffrey Epstein and started the entire investigation, but I don't know if that's true or not. That's just a rumor. So I don't count that. But being the fact that he sat down and talked to the investigators, gave them all the information that he had, and the investigators, way back then, with all the information that Trump gave them, came to the conclusion that there was no evidence that implicated Donald Trump in any of the criminal activities associated with Jeffrey Epstein. None. The investigators came up with that, and that was long before he was running for president. That was just based on the information that he provided. So that's all I have to go on. Now, yeah, there's a lot of accusations out there about things that he has done, and he's paid off this person, he's been charged with that, the man isn't necessarily the best person in the world, but who is? Okay, and I'm not going to judge him and accuse him of child trafficking, of sex trafficking, and abusing young girls because I don't like his moral character. I think that would be irresponsible of me. And I just wish that more people would think about what's actually out there, what's the evidence, what's the proof that we have, because we really don't have any. So, as you're thinking about getting the Epstein files released, ask yourself a question. Are you going to believe what's in those files? Are you going to believe that Trump is not in those files if that's what they say? Are you going to believe that Trump is in those files if that's what they reveal? If not, then stop asking for him to be released because it's not going to make a difference either way. Again, I think that the individuals, very powerful individuals throughout the world who were involved with Jeffrey Epstein and this sex trafficking and sexual abuse of these young girls need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The sad part is we will never know who's involved. We won't know who did it. So I have this fantasy, for lack of a better word. I guess it's kind of inappropriate for this particular posting, but I have this fantasy that somebody somewhere knows, and deep in their heart somewhere, they know what they need to do, and they're going to come out and tell the truth. They're going to come out and tell the truth and let the American people know who is not, who was involved in this trafficking, in this sexual abuse, in this horrifying crime that was perpetrated on these young girls. But it won't happen. I wish it would, because we deserve to know? Yeah, to a certain extent we deserve to know, but we deserve to know because we're selfish. It has no impact on us one way or the other. But we do need to get some sort of confidence back in our judicial system, back in our legal system, back in our government. Because right now, with everything that's happened for the past, I'm going to say 12 years, 15, 20 years, the government has proven time and time again that they are not for us. The Republican side is not, the Democrat side is not. The Republicans are for themselves. This is a country that was supposed to be and started as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's become a government that watches over the people to control the people to their own advantage so that they can line their own pockets and manipulate and control the rest of us. That's what we've become. That is why our government isn't trustworthy. They haven't told us the truth in decades. And both sides are to blame, not just one. Which to me brings up an even, I guess it's a basic concept in that we have this two-party system. And somehow, more specifically over the past 10 years, we have developed a loyalty to a party rather than a loyalty to the people of this country. It is rampant throughout Congress. I mean, you look at the Democrats. The Democrats, when was the last time you had a Democrat vote against the normal Democrat mass vote? They won't do it because they vote as one. The Republicans fight a little bit amongst each other because they can't get it right. But I respect the individual from either party that is willing to step outside of their party loyalty and put the country first and put their constituency first because that's what they were elected to do. That is what they're supposed to represent. Our congressmen are in office to represent us, not to be loyal to the Democratic or the Republican Party. But they haven't been doing that for years. I will say, and I never thought I would say this, uh, but John Fetterman has gained some sort of respect from me that he never had before because he's willing to, at least speak out against many things or several things that the Democratic Party has been fighting against for years because he believes that it's best for our country and it's best for the people. And that's what you're supposed to do as a representative. Speak out for the people. Be loyal to your constituency, not to your party. And that straight back into the whole Epstein thing and the thing that's going on with Obama and his treasonous activity. Again, when separated between party lines, that's a whole nother episode that I'll do later. But let's just let's start thinking as a country again and start holding our representatives, our congressmen, our representatives and our senators and our president and his cabinet. Let's start holding them accountable to the people. They work for us, but they have been very successful over the past decade in driving this wedge right down the country where everybody is divided. You've got extreme right and you've got extreme left. And those seem to be the only opinions that matter anymore. Those are the only opinions that anyone listens to or considers valid. But I'm going to tell you something. The vast majority of the people in this country are not extreme right or extreme left. We're somewhere in the middle. Most of us lean slightly right or slightly left, and that's it. We have a lot more in common than we have differences. But those are not the things that the government, that our representatives want to emphasize. They want to drive that wedge between us so that they further the divide in this country. And why would they want to do that? Because that is how they control us. That is how they manipulate us. That is how they allow themselves and afford themselves an opportunity to create laws that benefit them and don't benefit us. They're all in it together. And they have forgotten that the power in this country lies with the people. So I would implore everyone to put those differences aside. Stop the hate. Stop hating someone because they're a Democrat or hating someone because they're a Republican. Stop hating someone because they have beliefs different than you, because in this country you are allowed to have different beliefs. You're allowed to have different values. You're allowed to have independent thought, and it's okay. It doesn't make you the enemy. It just means you have a different opinion. Sit down, have an educated, respectful conversation, and you might actually learn something about how the other side feels. And you know what? Some of it might actually make sense. I mean, it may sway you, it may not, it may shift your beliefs and your values, but it may not, but that's okay because we don't all have to think the same. But when you attack someone, whether it's someone on the right or someone on the left, when you attack someone simply because they don't think the way that you do, they don't believe the way that you do, it's irresponsible. It's immature. It's just not the way this country is supposed to work. And that, my friends, is why our country is it's on the decline. It's not because of how the government is acting. It's because of how we are acting in response to what the government is doing.